What is shaggin'? We're going to get right to it today. It is tourney week, so it's time to talk to one of my favorites. Got to have him. They're in the tourney again. The head coach of the St. Mary's Gales, Coach Randy Bennett, my guy. Coach, what's going on?
Oh, a lot right now, but it's great to be on. I love this. I haven't really seen this show yet. This is great. I'm pumped to be
Hey,
on.
thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, yeah, look at you get the nice recliners there.
Yeah, our little
getting it done
video
there.
room. It's nice.
Yeah.
Place to do
I,
this. No distractions.
I like that. I was gonna text you before we talked to Tommy Lloyd earlier, and he actually went and changed. I had a different shirt on. He goes, "I'm gonna get my Beastie Boys shirt and put it on." Do you have a concert T-shirt in your closet?
No, well, no, I don't. I don't.
What's
I
the
do have
last
my
concert T-shirt
Lithuania
you
shirt
owned?
on. It's shirt available now. It's great for Marcelonis and Paulus.
What's
Respect
the
to the
last concert T-shirt
Lithuanian
you
national
owned?
team that did their thing. The other dream
It's
team.
like like Bill Walton. The
Yeah.
remember he had for the Lithuania team. He had the tie-dye shirts on.
Yeah, that's ours.
Before we get
Grateful
to
Dead.
Yep, absolutely. What was the last concert you went to?
Oh shoot, way back. College.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
I actually went to a Osmond concert back in the day.
Oh,
Can you believe that?
What? Oh no, I did not think you were going to
That
say
was like
that.
my first one ever.
So are you a little bit country or a little bit rock?
The date had to be pretty attractive to me for me to make that one.
Holy cow! I can imagine what the tickets on the secondary market went for that show. Holy
Mesa,
smokes.
Arizona, it was pretty big. Mormontown, Osmonds were pretty popular.
There you go. So would you say you're a little bit country or a little bit rock and roll?
Country.
A little bit country. The country's going back into vogue now. Hell, everybody's doing country.
That's where I've gone to. It's good.
No, it's incredible. So talk about this season, because it's been a great season. I mean, you've had so many there, and I've said this before, that you have built just a tremendous program there at St. Mary's. It's not about the players, although it's always about the players, but you move from year to year, and the team just fights, they compete, they defend, and they make the NCAA tournament more times than not. Talk about this journey and getting from the beginning of the season to where you are now. Obviously, you had Sharunas' son, Marshallonis, who was a reigning player of the year, and then Saxon, the big man in the middle. But you had a couple transfers, so there were a couple holes to fill. Talk about that journey a little bit.
Yeah, so it was pretty drama free this year. Like year before we started out 3-5 and had to overcome all that. We were sitting on a good team, but it just took us a little while. But this year, the leadership from our three seniors has been incredible, as good as any three seniors we've had, and they're just really steady, hard work. All the stuff that coaches try and preach and build in their programs, they are that. They're hardworking. They're unselfish. They're consistent people, and they bring it every day, and they become really good leaders. So we started out like 7-0. We'd lose a game, and then we'd win another 7 or 8, something like that. And then we hit league, and what we did in league was pretty impressive. But it goes back to those seniors, and the foundation had been laid. And in this this era of college basketball, it's hard to get that. But we returned 9 guys, and so our foundation was laid. And so the new guys, we could absorb the new guys, and Paulus and Ashton with the 2 transfers, but we had some freshmen, some of them who redshirted, but Mikey Lewis had to play key minutes for us. And so those guys could just kind of play because the leadership piece was taken care of, and hey, this is how we do things here. We're going to help you out. And were able to become good players for us. And as they fit in, we became a better and better team. And so it's yeah, I don't know if I'll enjoy a team more than this team. And this team will go down as one of our best teams, depending on how we finish in this tournament.
Yeah.
But we're a special group.
One loss in league. You beat Gonzaga twice. The only loss was a 1-point loss to USF at their place. And if I remember correctly, I think you had a lead late in that game, and they put on a hell of a fight to get back in, take the lead, and win by 1. But I mean, when you think about that, because when I was a senior at Arizona, we were 17-1 in league. We got beat by Stanford, and it's funny because I still hate all those guys to the core. Hate them all.
Isn't that funny how
but,
you remember that one? You can't remember
but
all
we
the
all
wins.
do.
You remember that one loss.
We all do. I've talked to so many people, Coach, about this. Is that for whatever reason, athletes and maybe coaches are the same way. That when we win, we expect to win because we put in the work and we just feel like that's the way it should work itself out. But when we lose, we hang on to those a lot more than we enjoy the wins. And I'm not sure it's completely healthy, but that's just the way it is. You win, you keep moving. You lose. You could ask me, please don't. But you could ask me about details of the Oklahoma game in '88 in the Final Four, and I could absolutely remember all those details much more clearly than beating North Carolina to get to the Final Four. I don't know why.
It's crazy. I can tell you all 4 of my losses in my senior year in high school. I can't tell you about any of the wins. It's
Talk
we're
about
sick. We're sick.
Talk about what Marciulionis has meant to this team, because he's not like the biggest scorer, but he can score when you need him to score. But he controls the tempo, the leadership. You can see it out on the court. I mean, to watch him play is just to watch a guy who's fully in control, kind of in the game and who he is and what he does. But talk about that leadership and what he brings to this team and how steady he is, and guys can rely on that.
Yeah, the best part of Augustus is he's consistently improved. Like, obviously, from his freshman year, he was unplayable at times his freshman year. And then sophomore year, he came on the second half and he started becoming a good player. And then his junior year, he had an unbelievable jump and became player of the year in our league.
Yeah.
But we've never had a guy go back to back. I told him this never happened at St. Mary's. And he did it. We had to win. He needed his teammates for that to happen, for sure. But he has continuously improved through this year. It's hard to make that jump from player of the year to being a better player the next year. And he did, and he's considerably better. And as the season's gone, he's just gained more and more confidence as far as being a leader, being a scorer. I think he's really improved as a scorer, but his percentages are up. He takes better shots, and I guess what makes him really good is he really competes. Like, he plays hard.
Yeah.
He's coming at you. He's trying to steal the ball from you. He'll be physical, and that was a little bit inconsistent earlier. Well, for sure, early in his career, but he's just a really good competitor and fighter, and as he's been able to do that, his game's improved because he's on the court like every minute. But I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I think some of it too, he's from Lithuania. He had to get used to living in this country and adjusting and
Yeah.
being away from all of his friends and family and all that. So he's gotten more comfortable with that. But he's a really good player. He's one of our best guards we've ever had.
How tough is it to go through I mean, you're 17-1. You win the league. Like I say, you beat Gonzaga twice. At that point, because I know there were times heading into the WCC tournament, you felt like, hey, we need to win this thing, or we might not make it to the tournament. And I still think you wear those battle scars to a certain extent. Like, yeah, I'm not taking anything for granted. I got to win this thing. Unfortunately, you didn't beat Gonzaga, but you did beat them 2 out of 3. It's an uncharacteristic game for you guys. A little sloppy. They got out in transition a couple times. But what are you feeling going into that tourney? The same as you always felt? Did you feel pretty good if you get to the final, you'll be okay? Or do you even worry about that stuff? It's like, hey, let's just go win the tournament. Everything else will take care of itself.
You try not to worry about it because you want to just focus on what matters, and that's playing well in the next game. But it's in there. I mean, coaches, they get in some dark places during season.
Yeah.
Going into this conference tournament, I thought we were in good shape, but you never know. I've been on a team that won 30 games, or coached a team that won 30
Yep.
games, and a team that won 29 games that didn't make it. So I do have those scars still. Um, and but I thought we were in good shape. Then when we had to play Pepperdine instead of Santa Clara, then it popped up again. I was like, shoot, we can't lose these guys because that'll hurt our net.
Yeah.
That'd be a bad loss. And we didn't have any bad losses, but we were able to take care of that. So we went into it as we did last year, pretty confident that we're going to be playing the next weekend, regardless of what we did. And then we played well against Pepperdine, and then Gonzaga beat us in a kind of an ugly game.
I think we talked about this maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, that the hope would be St. Mary's would turn into Gonzaga in this sense that you could schedule and not have to worry about teams looking at you going, well, I don't want to schedule you guys because you guys could actually beat us and we're not going to get credit for that. Is that turning the corner a little bit where teams are looking at St. Mary's and the success that you've had recently and say, you know what? We don't mind playing St. We can go to St. We may not go in their gym. Hell, you'd be crazy to want to go play in your gym, but we'll play them in a neutral site game. Yeah, because if we lose to them or if we win, that could be a quad 1 win for us and we could play them and it's not going to hurt us at all. Have you noticed that corner being turned at all recently?
Definitely. I think we're all doing the same thing, especially since these conferences they play more conference games, so it's hard. It's really hard to get one of those games now. So you got to figure out how to get them. But and we're not the only ones. Like the other teams have to do that too. Where are we going to get quad 1 games? And we're one of those. Like we're quad 1 game for sure on the road every year. I mean, we have been for a while now. So I think people see it as it's not an everything to lose situation. There's a lot to gain there. Just even if you lose the game, it's a quad 1 game, and you need to have a certain amount of those. If you're, we end up playing against Mountain West because they're in the same situation we are, and they're trying to get these quad 1 games. Where do you get them? Well, there's separate. There's St. Mary's, there's Gonzaga, there's maybe a USF, a Santa Clara over in the WCC. Let's go play them. And we're doing the same thing. And we played Utah State came to our place this year and beat us. That was our only loss at home. And they end up being really good, and they're really good in that game. So yeah, we definitely have that. It's enabled us to get in. Like we're supposed to be in Atlantis next year. We got the Maui coming up. It's hard to get in those tournaments because other teams they want to play against the really good teams. So you have to be a certain level of a program to get in them, and we have passed that threshold. So it's helped us, and it's helped us go to the. It's been a big factor in us being able to get to the NCAA tournament on a consistent basis.
So you take on the Vanderbilt Commodores this Friday. Do you know who Vanderbilt University was named after?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, you can't
Mr.
just say
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Mr. Vanderbilt.
Great answer, though. Great answer. Cornelius Vanderbilt. I was listening to a pod, and that popped up, and he made his money in the railroad. So there you go. If anybody asks you, boom, Cornelius Vanderbilt Railroad, and you don't have to say it, but mentally you can go. Thank you, Tom. That was nice.
I will. Now I know. I wouldn't have gotten his first name. I did know it was Vanderbilt, though.
Have you dug into the? I know it's Monday, and well, let me ask you before I get into the scouting and what you think of Vanderbilt, if you've even seen him play yet. But you've had him both ways now, Thursday, Friday. Friday, you get a little more time to prepare, but you got to sit around another day, and guys get a little antsy because they want to play. Thursday, lesser time, but you're in it. So would you rather Thursday, Friday? Does it matter? What are the pros and cons?
I like Friday. It's such a rush from when they shoot that gun on the selection Sunday, bang, the race is on, and it feels like a mad scramble. So having that extra day, and we're gonna have to fly on Wednesday. It's pretty much all you can do that day. That's got to be your rest day. So it gives you a little time to have practice with your team. Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday. You got Thursday to get ready and play Friday. So if it's Thursday, it's pretty quick. And the 24 hours, at least just for a program to not feel like they're so scrambled, is a big difference.
What do you know about Vandy?
Not a lot. I watched like one film on them, and I don't know a lot about them. We'll know their personnel a little bit now, but we'll figure
You
that
know what
out
conference
next
they're in,
couple
right?
days. What?
You know what conference they're in, right?
Yes, that's all I was about to say that. That's all I need to know is 14 out of 16 made it. They've seen the smoke.
Does it feel? I mean, you guys can't sneak up on anymore. Those days are long gone where St. Mary's come to the tournament and people are like, who's St. Mary's? St. Mary's, and then you go out there and kick their ass. Like those days have been gone. You probably miss those days where you could like sneak out. Everybody knows St. Mary's now. You want those days where you could sneak up on somebody, don't you?
Those were the best. The good old days.
The good
trying
old
to
days.
sneak up on Southern Illinois back in the day.
Give me your thoughts. I know there's been talk of expansion to the tournament. I'm like, why? So if they were going to throw more mid-majors in there, I'd be like, yeah, cool. Better games early on in the tourney. I'd love that. But what they're going to do is they're going to give like 14 extra bids to the SEC and Big 12 and Big 10. I don't need that. That's not what makes the tourney, in my opinion, especially early on. Like 68's fine. Isn't this thing saturated enough? I don't think we need more. You're a coach. You may say, hey, let us all in. That way I can make it every year. But how do you look at it?
It's moving so fast. This is what I'd say. 68's enough if you're going to take the 68 best. But we're not doing that. And I get it. It's the excitement and it's tradition, and I love it too. But if you're only going 68, I don't think you can afford to take 20 teams that probably aren't in the top 80 or whatever it is. It might not be that bad, but 20 of the teams that aren't in the top 50. So one way or the other, if you're not going to do that, if you're going to have all the automatic bids, then put more teams in. So the other good conferences that aren't the Power Four, and the Power Four, so they have a chance to get teams in. You take the Power Four and the Big East out of it, and there's only 4 teams that got an at-large bid from any other conferences, and 3 are the Mountain West, and 1 is us out of the WC. So it's made it, and this is probably last 5 years, it's made it really, really difficult to get an NCAA tournament. Yeah. And now with the NIL, you can feel that now. Like there's the top 50 teams, they're better than they were 5 years ago. Maybe not at the tippy top. Like those teams aren't as good as they used to be, but the 1 through 50, I mean, you're leaving out some really good teams now. That's my opinion. And then I look at it all the time. I just know how difficult it is to get in there and then to to not be in the playing game.
It's interesting. A buddy of mine brought up this point in the NIL era. He goes, the NIL now has really caused a backlog of players to where good players now coming out of high school are either going to Division II and transferring, JUCO and transferring, or going to a smaller school and thinking they're going to transfer immediately, like after the first year. And he said, what's happening now with the NIL, he goes, guys are staying longer because they're getting paid. Guys are able to stay longer because their JUCO year may not count. It's like they got another year. Like you get all these guys that used to be leaving college when they're 22, 23. Like, look, in my opinion, if you're 26, get the hell out. Okay, don't be Wooderson from Dazed and Confused. I go, don't be hanging around the college campus. Unless you're BYU, of course, and you go for 3 years, you come back, whatever. I come back, got the kids and everything. You're like, hey, let's go play some college hoops. But look, I don't want to be 20s, but you're getting more of those guys. How is that affecting recruiting and all that? Where these guys used to leave, and now they're staying, and it's like, well, what do we do with all these players?
Yeah, your buddy's right. It's just gotten so old, and you hit on a good point. These kids, they can get so much money in NIL that they're not even thinking about putting their name in.
Yep.
It Why would you? You can make more money unless you're a first round pick. You can make more money if you're really good in college. And so that's it, it's just gotten old, and so there's no spots for a high school kid. If you're not a really good high school kid, you're probably not getting an offer. And that's changed. So then what do? You got to go you're a Division 1 player, but you have to go play Division 2 or junior college, and it's just different, and it kinda stinks for high school kids. A lot of colleges, they figured this thing out. College coaches are, I don't know if they're smart, but they know how to hustle, and, they'll figure out the system, and all these guys have gone to, "Wait a minute, these top teams are playing with 23, 24, and 25-year-olds. I'm not taking an 18-year-old, and by the time when he
Yeah.
does get good, we'll lose him." And so and that's what it is. So hopefully they'll put some rules in to change that, because I don't think that's healthy. But we'll see. We'll see. But that is exactly where it's at now.
And aren't we hurting? I mean, look, I'll bring up Aiden Mahaney as a case, but like I think, and he would, for those that don't know, he played for Indy last year at St. Mary's, transferred, went to UConn, where I'm sure he got a better NIL deal, and that's great for the family, great for the kids in the short term. But I'm wondering how many players there are like that are like, okay, I got a chance to play here for more money, let's do it, but in the long term, maybe it doesn't serve their interest, and it's hard for them to see much past their college playing days. And I'm not saying, if you want to say, look, I'm going to make as much money as I can in college as possible because I'm going to probably be, as the commercial says, professional in something else. God, I hate that commercial. But they realize I'm not the guy, and I'm just going to make it. But I don't know that it's not there to serve their interest in the long term. But I think it does hurt some of them, where you just keep bouncing around looking to better deal, better deal, better deal. And then all of a sudden the music stops and you're like, well, that's it. I didn't develop any skills. I'm not as good as I possibly could be. I just went for the short-term fix. So again, I don't know exactly what to do about it, coach, other than maybe contracts, but I do think some of their long-term interests aren't served here.
I agree. You just got to decide if the money's the priority. If it's the
Yeah.
priority, I get it. But I do. You meant we never talk about this anymore, but getting an education is still important. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's just gotten totally lost. And then developing as a leader, and in a in a program, having the friendships you had when you were at University of Arizona. I mean, those are pretty special. I don't
Yeah.
know what value you put on them, but they're pretty special. So is the leadership you develop by being in the same program year after year. If you just keep going, you're just starting over every year as far as that. If you keep moving, so there's a lot of those things. I think connections for the future. There's some stuff that's hard to put a price tag on, and I don't know. We just had these 3 seniors, and they've been awesome. And I can't imagine any seniors from other programs. They There's some that are making a lot of money, which would make make them more money than our guys. But as far as an experience, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if he can top it. I
Well,
just
that's
know
all we take
personally,
with.
I wouldn't. I
Yeah.
would enjoy that. I was into the team. I was into winning. I was into, being a player, improving as a player development. I mean, keep the main thing the main thing. You got to get better.
Yeah.
You're not playing
Yeah.
any pro if you don't get better.
Yeah. Well, no,
Anyhow,
I think
that's where I
and
come
you
from.
put your money where your mouth is. I mean, I'm sure you've had chances to interview or go other places, and the program you built there, the quality of life there. And at some point, I think you look at it and go, look, how much more do I need? I got enough and I'm happy and I love doing what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, with who I'm doing it with. And I think sometimes, and not, this isn't just athletes, this is everybody probably on the globe, that you kind of have to factor that in. What's worth more to me? And I think what you just espoused is kind of obviously one of your core principles that has been important to you. It's like, look, I love it here. I love what I do here, and I love who I do it with. And I don't know if enough people actually look at it that way, but no, I think it's great when you say it because obviously you've lived it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's not, you know the deal. How much do you need?
Well, now that I don't have a job, more.
You got a job whenever you want. I'll hire you at St. Mary's.
Can you imagine me? Holy smokes. On the sidelines
I'd
with
have to
you.
hire another person to corral you during practice.
Yeah, you might. Well, maybe during the game, the referees
This is
kill me
this
sometimes.
is Tolbert's assistant. You just watch him the whole day and make sure he stays in the gym.
You don't mind if I bring Bruce to practice, do you?
Nah, bring Bruce. We'll be good.
I love it. Hey, best of luck against Vandy. You know, I'm always rooting for you. It's always fun watching you guys make the tournament. It makes it a lot more interesting for me. I'll say that. I got Arizona. I got St. Mary's. They're both going to be playing. You're going to be Saturday morning. I think they're Saturday afternoon. So best of luck. I hope you kick ass. And whether you get through or not, we'll definitely have you on again. But hopefully we'll be talking soon. And hopefully we'll be saying great job this weekend. But congrats, Randy, on a great season. And best of luck against the Commodores.
T, thanks. Thanks for giving me the history lesson on George Vanderbilt.
I'm there for you. I'm always there for you. Let's get together and grab that beer after the season.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you. Thank
All right,
you.
man. I'll talk to you. You got it. He's the best. He really is.